Welcome to another episode of Wit, Wisdom, and Wrinkles. I'm Pauline Field, and today we're talking about staying fit and healthy in retirement. We're talking with Ann Hager, fitness consultant with her company Refocus Fitness.
Okay, so this is all about staying fit in retirement. Retirement is all about doing our lives away and having your retirement be joyful. I'm Pauline Field, I'm retired, and I work. We have Feisty and Fearless over 50 circles, one-on-one coaching, and interviews like today that help you navigate the transition. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, I also now have a daily short video with little tips for retiring happily. And it's on just about every social media: YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you can't find me, let me know and I'll send you the links. There are just so many big questions to think about when we're retiring. Most people only think about the money. In fact, if you Google retirement or retirement coaching or retirement anything, all that comes up are financial people. Because people think, well, yeah, that's all I need is to get my finances together. But there's so many other things to consider. What I've listed here is just a few things to feel the bigger question. It's just a lot. Today, we're happy to have Ann Hager, who has 44 years experience in health and fitness training. So she knows a thing or two. She's a personal trainer and behavior change specialist, National Academy of Sports Medicine. She's an avid marathon runner. Yay. She has a fitness ministry, and she's an advocate for mental health and anxiety awareness, and just a passion to inspire others. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and let's get to Ann. And by the way, do jump in. Your questions are definitely important, and we should be able to get to them all. And welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. And it's just great to see everybody and meet everybody.
Let's start with, how did you get into this? And particularly, how did you get into working as kids?
I started very young. Speaking of seniors, I was a senior in high school when I started fitness. And then, like I said, I've been doing this over 44 years. But in all the aspects of my fitness role over the years, and then especially now that I'm a senior, it's something because I've always had a love for seniors. My mom, when she was alive, she used to go to my classes back in the 80s. And I think about it, she was my age now. And I thought she was an old lady. But it's something how, as seniors, you don't think about being a senior till you're there. And I've just always had that passion for years in my fitness studios. A lot of the fitness gyms, if people work out really hard or they think they need to lift heavy weight and they got to run hard, which along the whole way, you learn that you have to modify and do just what you can do no matter what age you are. But over the years in my classes, I'd see the seniors that wanted to participate. And I wanted to learn more about how you can do that and work with them. And more recently at our previous church, I started a fitness ministry, and our seniors class was the biggest class. We had 40, 50 people in there. And in fact, I'd invite some of my younger girls. I said, well, you could come to the seniors class. And when they went, they didn't expect it to be that challenging. We got things there that were pretty basic, but really effective. And as we age, we learn that this movement with your body is so key, because as we age, then we need to really work on our balance. Those things, just basic things you do around the house. And if you're retiring, you want to be able to travel and not be tired getting out there and walking and going to museums and doing those kind of things. So there's a whole love for my seniors and really for everybody at every age. And learning at my goal was not to be one of those personal trainers that just wants to beat everybody up, Mine is to work with each person individually and see what they need. And then that gives them the confidence to want to continue doing it and not shy away from exercise.
That's great. I ran 3 marathons, and when I trained, there were several people 70 and older who were training and completed the marathons.
Right.
And it's just fabulous. It's like,
Right.
yeah,
And
right.
it's amazing to this day. I've seen even a 100-year-old that's still running and competing. It's the senior Olympics. You're never too old. And even now in my 60s, I say, okay, I'm going to keep going. I've done 10 marathons, and
Wow.
they are, yeah, you do have to train for them, but it's so doable. Just not letting your mind get in the way and just staying focused on your goal.
Yeah. And you've touched on it a little bit, but say a little more about why it's so important to focus on fitness when you age, whether you're retired or not.
And a lot of times with fitness, if you're not, excuse me, if you're not moving and you don't have that movement going, then you don't have that energy because it starts with feeling like exercising. A lot of people that I talk to say, I don't like to exercise. And I thinking, how do you know unless you try? And you have to start with something. Just starting that movement will make a difference. A lot of times people are tired and stay tired or lazy and stay lazy because they're not active. So exercising is so key, just that movement. And then once you go out there and take a walk for 30 minutes, you come back and you think, wow, I feel better. Your brain feels better. Your body feels better. And then again, that movement for your muscles and your bone density, all those things that start at the age of 25, you will hear, or obesity. And that's a big one, especially these young kids who don't eat right, eat processed food. If you're not exercising, eating right, sleeping, they all go hand in hand. And what I teach too with as a behavior change specialist is it's not just about the food, which is a big part of it, and the exercise, but it's the mental piece. It's the mindset to say, I'm going to start my morning with a workout, even if it's a little walk, and not setting big goals, starting with tiny goals. And then those goals seem more attainable than you start adding instead of most people will go to the gym in the new year and I'm going to work out, I'm going to diet, and they go on a bad diet. And then boom, they crash like in the month's not even over. It's important that you just start with little changes and you can still enjoy your food. I still enjoy my food. I love food. How many of you love food? Raise your hand. We all love food. And it's the little changes that you make as you eat food, as decide what you're going to eat, taking away certain things. Okay, let's start with taking away processed. Let's maybe have coffee and not have the creamer. How many of you put creamer in your coffee, the flavored creamers? You don't have to tell. No. But a lot of those little things that we just gradually take away, then you start to notice not only that maybe you've lost weight, more importantly, you feel better. And that's when the behavior change model, that's what we work on, making those little gradual changes and then looking back each day and saying, what did I do today that made me feel so much more energetic? Maybe I didn't eat a heavy lunch. Maybe I watched my portions. Anyhow, I got into more than you probably asked me.
Oh, this
As
is
you
very
can tell,
good.
I'm passionate about the fitness piece, but it's not, like I said, it's not just the cardio, it's also the strength training. And again, with the strength training, you don't have to lift heavy weight. Some of my siblings, because I'm the youngest of 7 of us that are left, and they're all older than me. And I see them now, if they complain about how they're feeling, I'm like, okay, you need to get out there and exercise. And they're doing it. They're getting out there and getting on the treadmill or getting on the stationary bike. And it doesn't have to be anything too crazy. You could get crazy as you start to build up. But now that I'm studying more about the senior specialist, there are seniors that are doing more like reactive movement, bigger movements. You probably have seen some of the videos where you see these women lifting heavy weight. You have to be very careful with that. I always tell people, make sure what you can do first without weight, and then gradually you increase with that. But it's just important to keep your bones strong and to keep your muscles toned and to keep your cardiovascular going so you're not just sitting around and wondering why you're so tired. And the next day you wake up and you're tired again. I tell people this and they don't believe this about me, but when I was younger, I love food a lot and I could be lazy. I have a lot of energy, but it would be easy to be lazy. But then I would feel so tired and I think, I don't want to feel like this. Your adrenaline gets going, you get those endorphins going, and mentally you feel fed. And so then you're able to continue with that little process.
I love your energy. Yes. Let's look at the difference from when you're working. Because when you're working, you either just say, oh, I don't have time and just don't do it. Or
Right.
you say, okay, I can put in a few minutes here, or I can do this once a week. So when you're retired, it's a little different. So I could do that tomorrow. What suggestions do you have about the difference from when you're working to when you actually retire?
First, when you're working, and I deal with a lot of clients that own their own businesses and that are busy with kids, I've heard all the reasons. In fact, I go through a whole presentation on how many reasons we could make that we don't want to exercise. And then you figure out, you look at your schedule, and I will help people look at their schedule and you say, okay, where can I fit this in today? When could I at least go for, even if it's a 15-minute walk, and figuring out, or your lunchtime or after work or watching a 20-minute video, just carving out time for yourself. And this is while you're working and figuring out what kind of schedule is doable. And again, don't try to fit in too many. Some of my clients will say, what do you think, Ann? Should I 5 days, 6 days a week? And I said, let's start with 2, because that's a realistic goal. And then after the first week, you go back and you say, wow, that was pretty cool. I did it and I felt good. I didn't overdo myself. And then you gradually bring in the exercise. And then what do you do for exercise? Most people think for exercise, it has to be running, walking. Maybe you don't like to run or walk. You can go, some of you maybe want to swim or whatever. Now the big thing is pickleball. How many of you play pickleball? Pickleball seems to be the big thing. And you figure out what that is. Cycling on the recumbent bike, but just an activity where you're moving. Some of you may be doing chores at home. The activity that you pick is really key. And so back to when you're working, you figure out what that activity is, and then you get an accountability partner. And that's what I do. I'm also an accountability partner. But if you have a friend that's going to hold you accountable to say, hey, let's go work out or let's go for a walk or let's do a little bit this YouTube video and do some strength training. So try to get somebody to help you to be inspired to do the workout. And then again, you don't know if you don't try. Most working people, they just dart in the morning, get up, they got to go. They're running like crazy. They haven't even had time to think about what they have going on during the day. I get up very early and I sit in my chair. I have an inspiration room in my office and I sit there. It's my quiet time. I read the Bible. I read my devotion. I just I look at my schedule for the day and say, okay, what am I going to do today? If something looks a little crazy, prepare your mind so you don't just go out the door and then start yourself in a crazy bad mood. Instead, focus on that first. And then it helps set the pace for the rest of your day. And your day is actually a whole lot better. And that's for busy people. Now, retired people, so you're retired, but you're working. Pauline?
Yeah.
Are most of you all retired that are on this call today? Yes. No.
No, I'm working.
Yeah. Okay. So those of you who are retired, like you said, and it's funny because I've talked to some of my clients that are retired. It's easy to just say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Or, oh, gosh, I could do it tomorrow. And they spend a lot of time having lunches with their friends that they have time for now. But what's so cool about retirement is you want to be out there. I just looked at Alan. I think about how you and Deborah play golf. That's another activity. When you're retired, you want to have that energy. So you want to figure out what you enjoy and then figure out in that day, what can you do to make that time for that one fun thing that you're going to do, or what healthier things can I eat? And you don't know until you start making those changes. I always tell people you don't know until you try. And then once you make that little change and then you put it on your schedule, and I always have people write down their goals. What are my goals for this week? What do I see the challenges that are going to get in the way, whether I do work or whether I'm retired? Even as retired, you're Some of you that are grandparents are running your grandkids around everywhere, right? I don't know. That seems like most of my clients, I got to take my grandkids here. And looking at what's going to be your challenge. And that means, okay, I need to get up early and exercise. Then I'll have energy to help with those grandkids. And then after that, you look at, okay, where do I need the accountability? And am I going to have somebody help me with that accountability, my spouse or a friend? Or that's what I do. That accountability is key. So then when you go through your week looking at your goals, each day you check in and see, how did I do? What can I refocus on for the next week? And then I have some people fill out a journal. I'll ask people what they eat. And they say, I don't really eat that bad. I said, really? Okay. Tell me about your typical day. Then when they write it down, they're surprised themselves. Did I eat that? And then it's okay. I'll look at it and say, okay, maybe instead of eating a burrito every day on the way to work, let's try having one a week. So gradual changes is a whole lot easier in life than making it feel like it's a huge deal.
And something on that note is that I always tell people, find something that you enjoy.
Right.
Because if you don't enjoy it, it's hard to stick with it.
Absolutely. And that is true. And that's like I say with exercise. It doesn't have to just be walking or running. It could be whatever activity you enjoy. Do any of you out there want to share what you like to do as far as an activity that's movement?
Silver sneakers.
Oh, yay. Silver sneakers is awesome. It's a lot of fun. And basically, I was just my own program called Live Inspired Ministry, but our seniors class was like silver sneakers. We play fun music, and that's key to me. Fun music is what gets you going. We play fun music. We do things standing and sitting in the chair. And then I call it the fellowship with other people. It's fun to be around other people because you motivate each other. And some of you may not like to be around other people. That's okay. But though it just makes it more exciting. Anyone else want to share what they do?
Mostly I just walk. What's really fun is to put some music on to dance to by myself.
Oh, how fun. Yeah, dance like
Yeah.
no one's watching and who cares, right? But that's fun. That is really fun.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I
Deborah.
love that, Charlene, because it reminds me when I was a kid, I used to dance around the living room all the time. And I do it once in a while now, but not as much as I used to. And I thought maybe I should get back into because that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, or playing some fun salsa music, because I taught everything, but I taught Zumba. But playing the fun salsa music, well, my husband and I, John's in the chat here, we play fun salsa music, and it just puts you in the mood. And life is about, we just have one life, so we want to do things that are fun, that get us inspired. Anyone else want to share what they do?
I golf.
You golf.
I
Awesome.
golf.
And how often do you do that?
Once a week, but I need to get starting walking. I've been using a cart, and I think walking would be a better option. I've had some back issues, so now I'm going to have to start walking.
Yeah. See, and I love that. You think, okay, I could take this one step further.
Yeah.
And then that's awesome. And once a week is good. Yes?
I walk every morning. I take my dogs for a walk every morning. So we
Okay.
walk for a half hour every morning. And then now that the weather's getting cooler, we'll walk in the afternoon as well. But I do yard work. I'm always busy doing stuff around the yard, cleaning. There's never nothing not to do.
And that's a big one, is the yard work. That when I'm out there doing whatever, we have these pin needles, and I think of it as exercise. Oh, this counts. So that's
right.
good. The movement is everything.
Yeah, it's all about moving. That's my husband and I always say, if we don't move, we're going to lose it.
Exactly. Exactly.
I was just going to say, for a long time, the word exercise had a negative bent to it. So I call it creative movement.
Oh, I like that.
And now that I think of what I do in my routines on the mat, et cetera, I think of it as creative movement.
Yes, I love that. And it just feels so good. It's true. Because people say, oh, when I walk into a meeting at, say, at the chamber, there comes Ann, she's going to talk to us about eating healthy and exercise. And I remind him, it's not just about that. So I like the creative movement.
I was going to say that I sit in an office all day. So at a desk. And so I have to make a point. My body tells me. And so if I'm tuned in and listening, you need to get up and move and do laps around the office and go outside, take a walk around the block. And
Yeah.
so I do that pretty regularly. At least every other hour, I'm up moving, and I'll stop in a hallway and do some leg lifts and stretches and things like
No,
that.
and that's awesome. I do these presentations where I show people. In fact, I can send you out a handout, all the exercises you could do just at your desk. Because you think about this in your
Yeah.
posture, and
Yeah.
after a while, it's like all these muscles get tight all up in here.
Oh yeah.
And so just
The
those
lower back.
little stretches. And like you said, you get up and you move around. And I remind people who work in an office all day long, or they're working at home, their own business all day long, get up, get some more water, refill your water. Always, water is key. Always have your water nearby you. And the stretching is great.
I have one more thing that I do. Every morning, I stretch every morning. As soon as I
That's
get up,
great.
I just stretch every morning. And then if I'm sitting at my desk too long, I'll get up and I'll stretch. Just bend over just to stretch that back part from sitting.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and just to help. Stretching is very key for me.
It is key because I think about, for me, every day I have my foam roller. You know what the foam rollers are? They're little
Yeah.
pins. Yeah. And you work into the myofascial, whatever areas are really tight, that fibrous tissue just stretches out. And I just roll on it and my back feels good, making sure there's no stress. And sometimes it's not even that long that I stretch, but just that little bit each day is going to help. Like with your stretching, when you have one of those days, and I don't know if any of you have had this, where you go to pick up a weed or you go to pick up something and you pull your back or your hip or something. And as we get older, it's not easier to recover. So by doing all those stretches, getting your core nice and strong, which is the base of your body movement, that's going to really help you. And sitting up tall, like all of us now, let's try sitting up tall where you are sitting up, shoulders back and down, belly button to spine, and then look straight ahead. It's not very easy, is it? It's hard to do, but once you practice doing that, open up these scaling muscles. I get real tight in here just from talking. And then that could stay there and go down to the rest of your body when you're working out. So it's just really key. Like you said, the stretching every day is so important. Great.
Any other things that people should be cautious about, particularly if they're just starting?
Yes. With any type of exercise or creative movements, is you really want, like I said, the stretching. You want to make sure that you don't go in all gun ho before you know what your body can do. And so with the three types of stretches there's static stretches are the slow, gradual stretches that you hold for about 30 seconds, 25 to 30 seconds. Then there's active stretching where you just lunge to each side. That just is okay. My body's working. Like when you get out of bed and you put your feet on the floor, you're like, okay, here I go. So make sure everything's working. Then the dynamic stretching is the bigger muscles of the body, the power moves. Those are like your quadriceps, the top of your thighs, making sure that you strengthen those. And one key thing that we tend to have an issue with, no matter what age, besides balance, is your knee. And so you always want to be sure that you're not letting your knees go over your toes. Your posture just has to be making sure your feet are facing the same direction and not out or in. So there's just a lot of movements that you want to make sure you're careful with. And with any type of exercise, like I said, make sure your body's working. Don't go into it too quickly. 150 minutes a week is about what they're saying seniors should do. 100, and that comes to 5 days a week, 30 minutes. But just start out gradual, like with weights. Don't pick up heavy weights. I had one man in my senior class walked in and he brought his own weights that were like 15 pounds. And I'm thinking, you can't be doing that. Start light and then work on the form. When you work on the form and the isolation, it's going to give you more benefits than going heavy with the weight. And then again with balance, I always work no matter what age I'm working with, whether it's a runner I'm training or seniors that are doing workouts in the chair, we work on our balance. stand up and balance on one foot and see if you can hold it for 10 seconds on each side. When you're in the grocery store, you could do that instead of getting restless with standing in line. But the balance practice is so key because as we get older, in fact, every time I think of my older siblings, I'm like, be careful. Or my mother-in-law, I don't want them to trip or fall because falls take a long time to repair. And the way you can work for that is to preventatively work on your balance, work on your core.
By the way, strength training, which you have talked about, is really a plus. I like to travel, and I like to travel light. So I always have a carry-on. And a couple of years ago, I had a lot of trouble getting my carry-on up into the bin. And so I did some strength training. And the next time I travel, I just about threw it up. And it's, oh, that's why we do it. It's the things like that. It just makes life easier. That's
and
what
it's
I want to do. And as you said, when we travel, we want to be able to go and do and climb steps and walk and do all the things we want to do when we travel.
true. So many people wait to retire when they're in their 70s or 80s and they can barely walk. And that's why it's so key to work on your body today, right now. That way, when you're out there traveling, yes, you can. In fact, when you think about the things that you do, like lifting your arms, I have another client who's working. She's a dental hygienist, but she was saying she's doing this, or hairstylist all day long. Their arms are up like this. So we do strength training for their shoulders and their arms get stronger, always working on stretching out the neck. It is easier to make those movements, or it is easier to step up on steps and to get in and out of buses or whatever you're doing.
One last question, Anne. What, if you were going to just leave us with anything that we can start doing today to be fitter and healthier in our retirement and even before, what would you suggest?
There are so many, but if I had to say one, it starts with the mindset. It's our mind gets in the way of everything in our lives, right? So that mindset has to be right and say, what do I want to do for me? And how can I be effective? First for myself and then for my family and my loved ones. And so I can travel. So in your mind, decide, I love myself enough to take care of my body physically and spiritually and mentally. So the mindset is key. And then just start with one goal. Okay, today, like now, when we get off the phone, it's going to be your 11, or 12. It's lunchtime for me. When you get off the phone, I can eat something healthy. And then you think, what's healthy? There are a lot of healthy things that you can eat, vegetables and fruits and protein, but figure out something healthy that you can start with that you eat. And each day, just make little changes each day instead of saying, I'll do it tomorrow. Start today with little changes. And then each day, just build on it. And also, like I said, you can reach, I don't know if I said it before, but I am a behavior change specialist. And I love taking people through each step of building up towards your goals to make those behavior changes that aren't just temporary. There's a lot of bad diets out there. There's medications that people take, quick fixes. They're just temporary. You want this to be a lifestyle change. And by doing that, you can enjoy your life. You can enjoy your family. You can retire. My husband and I, John, he's right in there. We want to go to Italy in 3 years for our 25th anniversary. And we're going to be ready to move. Okay. So you want to stay active. And it's in your mind. It's spiritual. It's feeling good about who you are is going to make you move forward with inspiration.
I'm going to share my screen one more time. And let's look at, given all this wonderful, good information, what's next? Make some commitments to yourself. That's something Anne has said all the way through. It's just very important. Contact Anne and talk to her about your fitness goals. Join a Feisty and Fearless at over 50 group to work through some of these things. Or one-on-one coaching, and we also have a monthly newsletter. So if you're not getting the newsletter, That's an easy one to sign up for. And the Feisty and Fearless Over Fit, all those questions that I put up before, that's what we work on. You can call for a free discovery call and receive a free assessment. You can email me and we'll set that up. Contact Anne. It's Refocus by Anne at gmail.com. And you can call her 505-270-9087. And her website is Refocus by Anne. You can definitely contact her. And there's all my information. My company is Retiring Happily. So wishing you much love and laughter. Thank you all for being here and joining us today. I hope you are going away with some great ideas and inspiration of how to stay fit and healthy.
Thank you. This was
Thank you.
wonderful. Wonderful to
Yes.
talk to you all. If you need some inspiration, if you just want to talk, give me a call, send me a text, or go to my website. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us today in this edition of Wit, Wrinkles, and Wisdom. I hope you enjoyed it and found a little motivation into getting more movement and exercise into your life and maybe even eating better. We'll see you back here for our next episode. Take care.